Climate has a huge impact on all living organisms. Animals, in particular, are wonderfully adapted to survive in specific conditions where they live. Now, when it comes to very cold region, animals have some amazing features that help them protect them from extreme cold. And guess what? Animals living in hot regions have their own special features to cope with intense heat and the temperature. As you see here, the polar bear has a thick, fluffy fur, whereas the elephant here doesn't really have a fur at all. Well, here is the thing, these features aren't random. They're actually the result of a long natural process called evolution. Now, as the name suggests, polar regions are located near the poles. Yes, North Pole and South Pole. Some of the well-known countries that fall within the polar regions include Canada, Greenland, Iceland, Norway, Sweden, Finland, Alaska in the USA, and Siberian region of Russia. And the tropical regions, they include India, Malaysia, Indonesia, Brazil, Republic of Congo, Kenya, Uganda, and Nigeria. And just you know that in tropical regions, the temperature range from moderate to highly hot throughout the year. Now let's take some examples to understand how animals adapt to different climatic conditions. In this video, we are going to focus only on animals living in the polar region, and don't worry, we'll get into animals living in the tropical region in the next video. Polar region presents an extreme climate. These regions are covered with snow and it's very cold for most of the year. Can you imagine this? For 6 months the sun doesn't set at all. It's like daytime all the time, and then for the next 6 months the sun doesn't rise. It's dark the whole time. Isn't that fascinating? It's really interesting. Yes, and during the winters, the temperature can drop as low as minus 37 degrees Celsius. That's freezing. Now, animals living there have adapted to these severe conditions in pretty amazing ways, and let's see how they are adapted by looking at the examples of polar bear and penguins. Okay, that's one cool looking polar bear. Yes, do you see the white fur? The white fur is not really visible in the snowy white background, and this helps protect them from the predators and also makes it easier for them to sneak up to their prey for food. That's clever, right? Yeah, they also have a thick layer of fat under their skin. In fact, this fat insulates them so well that they keep them warm. And also they have to walk slowly and rest often so that they don't get overheated. That's funny. And get this, they have a strong sense of smell which help them catch their prey. Yeah, that's very helpful. In these extreme cold conditions, it's very difficult to find food anyway. Now think about this. On a warm day, when the polar bear gets too warm, they have to cool down. So what do? Guess what? They go for a swimming. For that, they have a long, curved and sharp claws which help them walk in the ice and swim as well. Like, can you imagine polar bear going for a swim because it feels hot? Yeah, that's what happens in the polar regions. And here is something interesting. While swimming underwater, it can close its nostril and stay underwater for a very long time. Yeah. And let's not forget, it has two thick layers of fur that help keep it warm in freezing cold. So yeah, this is how the polar bears have evolved to adapt to extreme cold conditions of polar regions. So the nature is pretty amazing in its own ways. Another well-known animal living in the polar region is the penguin. It is also white, which helps it blend in with the snowy background. Pretty smart, right? So that its predators and prey are unable to see it. Just like the polar bear, penguin also have a thick skin and a fatty layer underneath along the sides of its body. This fat acts like a natural insulator, keeping the penguin nice and warm in freezing temperatures. Now you may have seen those adorable pictures, just like this one, of penguins huddling together. Have you thought why they do that? It's actually to stay warm. Think about how warm it feels when you are in a packed room full of people, maybe with no fan and AC. It's the same idea. Yes. And guess what? Like polar bears, penguins are also great swimmers. Their body is perfectly streamlined, which means they are shaped perfectly to glide through water with ease. And here is another cool feature. Look at their feet. Their feet have webs. Yes, like built-in flippers. These webbed feet helps them swim really fast through the icy waters. So there you go. Penguins may look cute and clumsy on the land, finding it difficult to walk, but in water, they are pros. They are torpedoes or bullet inside water. Other than penguins and polar bears, some other animals living in the polar region are you have reindeers, then foxes, seals, whales, and even some birds. Now here is something interesting. Fish can stay under cold water for a longer time. Okay, no problem. But birds, they need to stay warm to survive. So when the winter gets really, really harsh, when the temperature really drops to minus 37, minus 40 and further down, what do these birds do? They migrate to a warmer regions. And once winter is over, they fly back. Pretty cool strategy, right? You probably already know this. India is one of the favorite spots of many of the birds. Why? Because we have moderately hot temperature almost all year around. And one very special guest that comes to our country is Siberian crane. Yes, this guy over here. It comes all the way from Siberia. Siberia is a, by the way, is a super cold place in the northern part of Russia. Yes, it's get really, really cold in the winter. And what do these Siberian cranes do during winters? They pack their wings and fly all the way to India, to places like Bharatpur in Rajasthan, Sultanpur in Haryana, and sometimes even to the wetlands of northeast India. And so that's the story of polar animals. Animals like polar bears and penguins have adapted to survive in extreme cold of the polar region. And some animals, especially birds, choose a different path. They simply migrate to other parts of the world where it's warm and comfortable.